bit about Eyelead software and what Eyelead software is about as an example of what has actually come out of a lot of years of R&D in the university here in Greece. And now it's starting to materialize as something that can actually provide some solutions in the international mobile business. So first thing, why 3D and mobile gaming? And the reason for that is, as you've seen from Visual Mobile, I actually borrowed some of their graph here. This smartphone market is now at 30% and it's actually growing. And it's not only that it's growing, it actually enables an ecosystem of applications. Part of these applications are the gaming applications. The other thing is that everybody's talking that this 3D mobile gaming thing is going to be really big. Now, there are different views and different opinions, depends who you're talking to. You see 2 points over there. Gartner has a different numbers to report. It's definitely going to be big in the size of billions. So this is something that should be of interest as a market. The last thing about 3D mobile gaming is that 3D has a twist in it. It's actually something that creates much better user excitement and experience. And this is why, essentially, it makes sense to do 3D mobile games instead of standard 2D if you can. This is essentially, in the end of the day, about retaining users. But, there's a but. Doing 3D game development is really hard. And why is it hard? Because it's something that requires different skill sets. It requires creative industry skill sets, it requires programming, and it requires technology. So if you add all these three up, you actually end up in a case where you need a lot of different people to be working together to produce some kind of good result. And essentially, this is why to do good 3D games, you can't do it with small teams. Small teams essentially lack the essential skill set or lack the essential people from all across this different environment to actually do that. And the other thing that actually was touched base by Andreas is today the mobile platform space is so fragmented. There are so many different mobile platforms that people actually cannot or should be addressing. And for developers to do different platforms, that's a really difficult thing each time. Now, of course, if you want to do games, that's one thing. If you want to do good games, hot games, that's a different thing. There's a lot of things that are besides just doing great graphics. It's about knowing the psychology of the user. It's about understanding how the game gender works. What kind of target audience are you looking? What kind of user base are you looking? There's a lot of things that you need to know upfront when you're designing a good game. And that's another thing that actually puts small teams or small studios in disadvantage. And lastly, and of course not least, it's a costly and a long time to production. Doing 3D is difficult. It requires, you need to do all the 3D models. You have to do all the things about, the movement, making it smooth, making it nice, doing testing, doing focus user group testing. There are a lot of things that you have to do. So, that's a key pain today. A key pain is how can you do rapid 3D, good content, to be able to enter the market timely. And essentially we think we came with a solution. The solution, after about 10 years of research and development in the university, and then another 4 years of prototyping what we actually got out of the university's FP, is something that would simplify collaboration, something that would allow the developers to code once for many platforms, but think about this, the mobile platforms are constrained platforms, so the code base needs to be optimized for the platform. So it's not just writing code, it's writing code for a specific platform. And then, of course, allow to do that over the net or over today's facilities in order to be able to allow dispersed teams to work together, because remember at the start that you need to have different people be working together, and these different people generally are not at the same place. They're dispersed around the world. And what we've done, we call it Hive 3D. So let's go to the video, if you can please play the video, so you can have a look and understand what Hive 3D is about. So if you could go back to the slides, you actually have seen what Hive is about. Essentially, these are all the pain factors that we tried to address by developing this technology. However, being a startup, it's also about managing cash flow. And it's one thing to create technology, but if you do that in a constrained environment where, raising cash is not exactly easy, you also have to, get your way through that. So essentially what Eyelead has been doing in parallel with developing its own technology is actually creating content or games, if you want, for this technology. And what we've been doing, we've been using this base technology. We've done a title that's actually a prototype today called Deathfall Chronicles. Then we had a collaboration, a co-production with Evgenidio Foundation, the Planetarium, and actually there's a movie out there called Evolution, which we actually have done all the 3D of that movie, so the whole 3D aspects of that movie, and you can actually go and see it in the planetarium. It's actually played at this point. Then we've done some screen games, and then Bunny Maze 3D, which actually was how we engaged with some international players and with Qualcomm, which is essentially one of the key hardware vendors. We worked to optimize our engine and capabilities, and we created Bunny Maze 3D Mobile, which has been launched together with Sony at the Games Development Conference in March in San Francisco. Actually, you can find this title today in the Android market, and it's exclusively for Snapdragon-based processors today, but it's coming also for other Android and soon also iOS phones. So what's the key value proposition? What do we provide? Essentially, we provide better 3D quality and essentially the shorter time to market capability with a lower production cost. And this is what matters in this 3D gaming world. And to illustrate that, if you have an art director typically can create a sketch of what the scene is going to be about. Then it actually assigns the task to his artist to actually create the 3D stuff, and he manages the entire workflow. He checks at every point if that, what he's getting is what he wants, and that's all in real time now. And that's essentially what Hive promises and delivers. Hive development platform allows essentially the art director to be in close interaction in real time with his artists as they develop the 3D world. And of course, this is the thing that enables the capability for smaller teams now, essentially, to compete. And how we can actually do that that's built on the premise of our technology, because the Hive, the Hive 3D development platform is actually a number of different things. It's a technology that actually goes and gets optimized for the hardware platform. That's a key ingredient. There's technology that actually has to do with low-end programming API that's tied to the specific graphic engine, especially for 3D graphics. That's very important. And then, of course, there's for the front end, the things that the user is using in order to develop the game itself. And what do we support today? I mean, this has been a long process. Eyelead has been working over 4 years for that. And today we support, I would say, the multitude of the different main platforms out there. We don't support Bara, we don't support BlackBerry, but we do support Android, we do support iOS, we support Windows and Mac, we support Chrome, which is the latest edition, with Knuckle. We are looking into supporting Windows 8 and Xbox, which is essentially the companion in that Microsoft platform. And there are a few things we're looking about Google TV and essentially the counter Apple TV, which is still in the progress. However, the big thing and what we want to enable and what we are working to enable is to create what we would call a cloud-based collaboration solution or a software as a service. Because nowadays, it's really very difficult for small indie teams that work across the globe to exchange the gigabytes of data that 3D models actually require to work together. And that requires a kind of a common infrastructure, and this is what we've already been working on, essentially to enable a high 3D capability over the cloud that would be running over a browser and would allow dispersed teams actually to be working together and generating their game for the different platforms. So our secret sauce, we're Atlas friendly because we also build our own games and we have creative people in the team. We are, from day one, collaborative. We have, put everything together in an integrated development environment. Everything is running concurrently, so essentially we minimize development time. We are mobile and web enabled, so we support these technologies out of the box. The whole technology, the Hive 3D technology, is modular and adaptable. We can actually plug in things. There's SDKs that we can actually plug in things. And of course, the latest thing we're working on is to be cloud enabled. And this is why we think we have a solution to enabling high quality 3D game for mobile, tablets, app stores, set-top boxes, and later on also connected TVs. Thank you.